Here are my note cards. Hi everyone, I'm Kate Mumford. Nearly every person has encountered drugs, weapons, violence, bullying, disrespect in some way in their life. While it can be said, schools have done a decent job dealing with the more serious problems such as weapons, drugs, and actual violence, it appears bullying and disrespect remain to be considerable problems for students in our schools. Some challenges that students have to overcome are what courses to take, what sports to participate in. The harder challenges that they have to overcome in schools are drugs, violence, weapons, bullying, and disrespect. Students in schools have easy access to certain drugs. Some are prescription drugs, inhalants, steroids, marijuana. The authors of Abuse Prevention, a School and Community Partnership, Richard Wilson and Cheryl Colander, said drug education has evolved into both a movement and an industry in the last 40 years. One program is the DARE program, the Drug Abuse Resistance Program. It was the first national program promoting zero tolerance. It was established in 1983. DARE is in 75% of the nation's schools. Through it, police officers and teachers lecture students K through 12. It teaches them to resist peer pressure and how to have a drug and violent-free life. Some risks for students to become drug abusers are if they're younger than 21, if their caregiver abuses drugs, if they have academic failure, if they've experienced peer pressure, which maybe led them to their drug abuse, if they have poor social skills, if drugs are available. To prevent drug abuse, families should monitor their child's behavior, set limits, and be consistent with discipline. A strong family bond can go a long way into stopping peer pressure. Another challenge in school is violence. Violence could consist of bruising, cuts, broken bones, bullying, slapping, hitting. It doesn't just affect the students. 7% of teachers say that they've been threatened or physically injured. Most schools have a zero tolerance. That means the use of profanity, verbal threats, or any act of violence will not be tolerated on school grounds or at school events. They have security checkpoints to get into the front door, metal detectors, or even a pat-down. And some schools have police officers that monitor the hallways. Scott Newman, author of Violence in School, How Big of a Problem Is It?, says that schools are the safest place for children compared to anywhere else. The reality, experts say, is that violent crimes in schools have decreased significantly since the early 1990s. Anyone can be bullied for any reason. Some reasons are homophobia, disability, racism, religion, obesity. Kathy Robinson, the author of Bullies and Victims, said, bullying is aggressive, hurtful, and sometimes violent behavior that always involves an imbalance of power or strength. There are 3 different types of bullying: physical bullying, social bullying, or verbal bullying. Verbal bullying is when you write or say hurtful things like teasing and name-calling. Verbal bullying is threatening and taunting people, making inappropriate sex comments. Social bullying is hurting others' reputations or relationships, purposely leaving others out, telling others not to be friends with them, spreading rumors and embarrassing others in public. Physical bullying is hurting others' bodies or possessions, hitting, kicking, spitting, taking or breaking others' belongings, and making mean or rude hand gestures. Bullying has a negative effect on the bully, the victim, and the bystander. It can cause depression, anxiety, sadness, loneliness, changes to sleep patterns, and diet. Students can have a loss of interest in activities and hobbies. It can impact their grades and maybe affect them wanting to go to school where they're going to miss or even drop out. Worst case is suicides and school shootings. This has made many challenges for schools to stop bullying. They don't know when it's happening. It can happen on the bus, to or from school, outside the school zone, or even on social media. Some students hesitate to tell. They fear that it'll only get worse. Schools have started to train their faculty, train them on how to stop bullying, how to help the victim and the bully. They are teaching students how to identify, avoid, and discourage bullying. Schools are also taking the problem seriously, teaching students the value of honesty and decency. And when a student is a bully, the teachers are helping them to teach them the appropriate manners. State and federal lawmakers are also joining in the effort to stop bullying. They are helping and protecting the schools. Schools are involving the family, asking for advice from other schools that have a bully-free institute can also help the schools achieve a bully-free institute. These issues have all come full circle. Kids were bullying on the playground, and it causes the victim to feel threatened and wanting it to end. And maybe because of this, they start to carry a weapon to school and bring it all back to bullying. The schools have done a decent job to end violence and drug abuse in the school. But now it is time for the schools to really tackle bullying. Thank you for listening. I look forward to listening to your video.